You're watching South Asia Newsline, and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Wednesday, the 13th of August. Amid trade tensions with Washington, PM Modi likely to visit US for UNGA. After Munir and Bilawal, PM Shehbaz joins Pakistan's war rhetoric against India. And UN warns of complete erasure of Afghan women from public life. And now for all the details. Amid US President Donald Trump's tariff salvo against New Delhi, reports suggest that Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is likely to travel to New York for the United Nations General Assembly. According to the provisional list of speakers for the high-level debate of the 80th UNGA session, India's head of government is scheduled to address the session on the morning of September 26th.
I have great pleasure in welcoming
The heads of government of Israel, China, Pakistan and Bangladesh are also slated to speak on the same day. However, Reuters, citing an Indian official familiar with the matter, reported that no final decision has been taken yet. Countries usually reserve slots for the general debate in advance, which is why India's head of government appears on the provisional list for September 26th. While the potential visit's primary purpose would be to attend the UN meeting in New York, there is no confirmation yet on whether PM Modi will meet President Trump during the trip. Relations between New Delhi and Washington have been strained in recent months after Trump announced an additional 25% tariff on Indian goods to penalize India for continuing to purchase Russian oil. The move raised the total levy on Indian exports to the US to 50%, one of the highest imposed on any American trading partner. New Delhi has also been irked by Trump's repeated assertions that he brokered peace deal between India and Pakistan after the May conflict. India has maintained that the matter is strictly bilateral and that a ceasefire was achieved without any third-party involvement. Ahead of India's Independence Day celebrations on Friday, the Indian Army on Wednesday foiled an infiltration attempt in the Uri sector of Jammu and Kashmir. According to defense officials, one army personnel was killed in action during the operation. Search operations were still underway at the time of the last report. Meanwhile, with the national celebrations approaching, security has been significantly heightened across the country. In New Delhi, which will host the main Independence Day event at the Red Fort, around 10,000 soldiers, paramilitary forces and special commandos have been deployed. The capital has been transformed into an impregnable fortress, with authorities introducing multiple layers of security, including drone detection grids, expanded CCTV networks and rooftop patrolling. Monitoring teams, snipers and SWAT commandos have been stationed on high-rise buildings surrounding the Red Fort. To manage crowds, 700 cameras equipped with facial recognition technology and artificial intelligence have been installed. Security teams are also deployed at IGI Airport, major railway stations, interstate bus terminals, malls, markets and other busy public spaces.
15 अगस्त को लेके हमारे बहुत ही पुख्ता और मल्टीपल टाइप्स ऑफ सुरक्षा इंतजाम हमने यहाँ पर करे हैं और उसके अंदर हमने पब्लिक की सेफ्टी और सिक्योरिटी दोनों एस्पेक्ट्स को ध्यान रखते हुए यहाँ पे अरेंजमेंट लगाया है और कई तरह की टीम्स यहाँ पे हैं, पुलिस की है, पैरामिलिट्री की है और भी दूसरी सिक्योरिटी एजेंसीज़ भी हैं यहाँ पे। उसके अलावा मेडिकल इमरजेंसीज़ को रिस्पॉन्ड करने के लिए यहाँ पे मेडिकल की टीम्स हैं, कैट्स है, सेंट जॉन्स एम्बुलेंस, उनके फर्स्ट एड पोस्ट भी है। उसके अलावा फायर सर्विस की टीम्स भी है, यहाँ पे होम गार्ड्स भी हैं। तो बहुत ही व्यापक स्तर के ऊपर ये अरेंजमेंट लगा है जिसके अंदर अराउंड 10,000 सुरक्षा कर्मी भी लगेंगे।
And continuing Pakistan's war rhetoric against India, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif on Tuesday issued a direct threat to New Delhi over the Indus Waters Treaty, warning of a decisive response if India blocks the flow of the Indus. Addressing an event in Islamabad, Sharif in a threatening tone said, "If India stops the water, Pakistan will teach it a lesson it will never forget." His remarks comes within 48 hours of similar threats from Pakistan Army Chief Field Marshal Asim Munir and former Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari. India put the 1960 Indus Waters Treaty in abeyance following the Pahalgam terror attack, which killed 26 people in Jammu and Kashmir. New Delhi has said the suspension will remain until Pakistan credibly renounces cross-border terrorism. The decades-old agreement brokered by the World Bank in 1960 divides the Indus Basin's 6 rivers between the two countries, granting Pakistan access to the western rivers Indus, Jhelum and Chenab. With the treaty suspended, India has accelerated planning and execution of hydroelectric projects on the Chenab, Jhelum and Indus rivers. Bilateral relations are at an all-time low, with both sides having engaged in military clashes over India's actions against terror outfits based in Pakistan and in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Pakistan-occupied Gilgit-Baltistan has been left devastated after recent floods washed away nearly everything. Victims have been forced to stumble from door to door seeking help with little assistance from the government. Locals are now demanding government intervention to rebuild their livelihoods. A report.
Hundreds of houses have been washed away due to the devastation caused by the floods in Pakistan-occupied Gilgit-Baltistan, leaving victims displaced and seeking shelter. Entire neighborhoods now resemble scenes of dissolution, with survivors forced to stay in tents with no food or water available. Authorities estimate that between 300 and 350 houses have been damaged, including agricultural land being destroyed, cutting off the primary source of livelihood for many families.
डिजास्टर आए थे कोई 300 से 350 के लगभग जो फिगर हमारे पास है वो घर इसमें डैमेज हुए हैं, पार्शल डैमेजेस है, कोई लगभग सेफली 1000 कनाल के आसपास एग्रीकल्चर लैंड है. ये इसलिए ये एस्टिमेट्स मैं बता रहा हूँ क्योंकि एक एक वैली में हमारी टीम के साथ हम गए, हमने ड्रोन सर्वे किया, वहाँ पे लोगों के साथ मिले, पुलिस कचहरियाँ की, कोई सेफली 20 के करीब लिंक ब्रिजेस और ब्रिजेस इसमें वॉश आउट हुई हैं और हज़ारों फुट के और मीटर्स के हिसाब से जो है वो ड्रिंकिंग वाटर सप्लाई जो कि सर से हमने रिक्वेस्ट की है एंड इज अश्योर्ड his full support.
Despite assurances of support, survivors say government assistance so far have been limited to providing tents. Many have been left without food, water or income. Due to the devastation caused by the floods in Jammu district of Gilgit-Baltistan, the victims have been forced to stumble from door to door. Flood victims are urging the government to rebuild their homes and restore basic infrastructure so they can begin to rebuild their lives.
के बाद यहाँ जो नुकसान हुआ है वो पूरे थुर में खास कर ये आबादी है जो कारो शितन उसका नाम है, उसका जो मकानात थे और ज़मीन वगैरह जो भी थे वो सब सैलाब के ज़िद में आ गया है. और रही बात हुकूमत की तरफ से थोड़ा कोई एक टेंट मिला है मेरे ख्याल में एक घर के पीछे, खालिश वो टेंट के नीचे ये लोग आसमान तले बैठे हुए हैं, उनके पास न कारोबार है न कोई और नौकरी सिस्टम है, सिर्फ ये ज़मींदारा से अपना गुजारा करते थे. तो अभी उनका बिल्कुल ज़िंदगी बसर करने के लिए कोई मामला नहीं है.
इधर हमारे 7 घर थे, हमारे घर के साथ सामान, फर्नीचर, लकड़ी सारे हमारे गया. तो हमारे 20 से 25 कनाल ज़मीन में मक्की का काश्त थे वो भी गया, दरख्त थे 10-15 अखरोट वाले दरख्त वो भी गया, कोई सेब का दरख्त थे 4-5 से वो भी गया. तो सारे गया हमारे. अभी हम इंतहाई ख़तरनाक हालत में है, न खाने का सिस्टम है न पीने का सिस्टम है, सारा सिस्टम हमारे लिए अभी ख़राब है.
The catastrophe has once again exposed Pakistan's apathy towards the people of Gilgit-Baltistan. Even in the face of such large-scale destruction, the occupied region's residents say they have been left to survive on their own.
4 years after the Taliban's return to power in Afghanistan, the United Nations is warning that the rights of women and girls in the country face a serious risk of complete erasure from public life. UN Women says the situation is becoming increasingly adverse, highlighting that restrictions imposed since August 2021 haven't been reversed. The list of restrictions is long. Girls are banned from secondary school, women are barred from most jobs, excluded from political life, and in many places forbidden to walk in public without a male guardian, the UN in a statement said. Women's rights activists say the silence of both the Taliban authorities and the international community leads to acceptance of the elimination of half of Afghanistan's population. They are calling for education, work opportunities, and global solidarity with Afghan women. Despite the escalating restrictions, Afghan women continue to show resilience and courage, determined to fight for a future of equality. UN officials warn that the complete erasure of women from Afghan public life could soon become a reality if action isn't been taken globally. Nepal is set to waive the climbing fees for nearly 100 remote peaks in the northwestern Himalayas for a period of 2 years, focusing to lure mountaineers to the less developed region bordering China. This update comes when the country has announced to raise the climbing cost for the Everest, world's highest mountain, September onwards. Nepal has also announced that the per-person Everest climbing permit fee will jump from 11,000 US dollars to 15,000 US dollars. Climbers typically focus on around 25 main peaks in the northeast and the central parts of Nepal, which includes the Mount Everest. The permit fee waiver would help promote tourism and improve economic conditions for people in the least developed areas of Nepal and encourage climbers to go to unexplored yet scenic areas and mountain peaks. In July 2008, Nepal government waived off climbing fees for certain peaks in the mid-western and far western regions for 5 years, which was extended until 2018. Another push came ahead of the Visit Nepal 2020 campaign when peaks like Api, Saipal, and Ganesh Himal were made free to climb, but was cut short by the COVID-19 pandemic. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.